Kitchen while I'm doing this little short video. Okay. All right. I want to talk about why some people don't start and finish goals. Now I have some other videos on here that are available to be watched for a small fee. Okay. I'm gonna start doing throwback videos and posting them for sale, meaning to watch for a fee. So check the community news. I'm going to be on this channel only on the weekends, y'all, from now on. Just so y'all don't lose the channel. Okay? So why do some people don't start their goals and why do some people don't finish them? I've been in that situation many times. Okay? And what I realize is trying to switch energies becomes like chaotic in your body. And when you're switching energies so much, when you try to go back to the energy that you kept switching from, that energy becomes like sort of like it doesn't really allow you to access it like you want to, like you did before. It puts up a resistance to you connecting with it. So this is why some people, to avoid that happening, they will just stay in one specific energy until that specific energy is, they're done with using it altogether. And then they may switch to another energy, but that energy will still be supporting the previous energy. I'm trying to break this down to have y'all understand it in a metaphysical way, because it's metaphysical. The reason it's metaphysical, okay, and it's about energy. This is why sometimes when you try to step in a certain energy at a certain time, it don't work. You say, I'm afraid, there's fear, but that energy is not accessible because your circadian clock rhythm is not allowing it to be accessible to you without force, okay? And then when you put too much force to access it, when you're not allowed to access it because of your circadian rhythm flow, then what happens is you end up feeling like it's work when you do start that goal, and then you quickly will like stop doing it, or you will, the next time you try to do it, you will avoid it because your brain remembers the last time it felt like work. See, if you got to force yourself into a certain energy for that goal to be achieved, it means it's not really supposed to be accessible to you at that time. Okay, I'm breaking it down. This is why it's important to choose a circadian rhythm and stick with it. When you start living a messy life and you keep going off schedule, it will throw off you being in alignment with the time you normally would be able to access a certain energy to achieve a certain goal. Every goal has a leading dominant energy, and every energy is accessible according to your circadian rhythm, clock rhythm. Okay? So when people say, I can't sit down and write, it's because their circadian clock rhythm, where they're at in their circadian clock rhythm, is not in alignment with what they're trying to do. Okay? That includes whatever they're doing that's related to writing. So I'm using that as an example, y'all. So apply what I just said to any other thing you do. Now, there is certain energies that we're all just naturally good at harnessing and mastering. So, of course, some other energies we're going to struggle with. So let's say that your energy, you're really good at purging. That's something that you can just do for hours. Of course, your brain's going to tell you when you wake up in the morning and you hit that time period in your circadian clock rhythm to purge, your brain's going to want you to purge, and you may end up purging longer than you should because you like it and you're used to it. Okay, so you're kind of pushing the energy further because it's something that your brain is comfortable with. There will always be certain energies that your brain is afraid of being in. So you got to trick yourself to get into the energy. But it is impossible if your circadian rhythm is not in alignment with that energy. Okay. If there's people understanding what I'm saying, please let me know. My content, there's extended information for this. I'm going to have a workshop talking about this because the important thing is to master your own energy rhythm and stay in it. Like, don't get out of it. When you find an energy rhythm that makes you sleep well and wake up refreshed and optimistic, you got to keep that rhythm. That's why it's hard to get a 9-to-5 job and still try to achieve a big goal, because they're screwing around with your circadian clock. The employer is. Hi, everybody. Okay. I didn't get on video because I really want to be as God made me, and I don't want to get into it with nobody in the black community who got self-hate. You know, some people, they get into deep toxicity on the weekends. They dump their energy on weekends and then they go to work refreshed. And I know, as a woman of color, we tend to be society's favorite dumping ground, energy dumping ground. So I try to make sure that I have boundaries set up on the weekends so people will do their inner work and not use me. But getting back on topic, your goal, now the longer you are detached from your goal mentally, the harder it's going to be to start physically. So the thing is, you have to make sure that nothing else is taking up more of your mind but your goal. If there's nothing else taking up more of your mind most of the day, and how many days, then most likely your brain is going to say, well, this is it. I might as well just compel my body to do this. And that's what you want. Okay? But some people think if they focus on all this different stuff, that because they were able to do the goal before, they think when they sit down that they're going to be able to do it again, and it comes to a screeching halt. Okay, it don't work that way. Remember, mind first. The soul and the mind came first. Consciousness was here first. You must take full control over your consciousness. Everything that's in your consciousness eventually sinks down to your subconsciousness. Your subconsciousness, when something is too unfamiliar in your consciousness, the subconsciousness will go against it. The subconsciousness will try to block it. But if it is more familiar in your consciousness, in a positive vibration, your subconsciousness will actually compel you to chase it. Your subconsciousness will actually cheer for it. You may not feel that your subconsciousness is doing it, but it is. You know that it's doing it because it's not giving you anxiety. When you have anxiety and fear, that's literally your subconsciousness going against your consciousness. Okay? I'm breaking it down. Now, even if you say, I'm going to get into this goal, and I am doing this goal more often, if every time you do the goal, there's negative experiences attached to the goal, your subconsciousness is going to still try to stop you. Okay? All right. Yes. Hold on to the positive thoughts and feelings of the consciousness. Okay, the consciousness. There's nothing you can do. You decide your subconsciousness by deciding your consciousness. Okay, the key is your consciousness. You must dominate full control over your consciousness. And then your subconsciousness will decide what emotional energy you will be in according to your consciousness. Okay, are you understanding what I'm saying, Bing? So instead of saying subconscious, you have to say consciousness. If your consciousness has any toxicity connected to the goal, whether in memory or thought, the subconsciousness will stop you from achieving that goal. Okay? There's a movie that kind of, it doesn't get deeper into it like I do, but it kind of drops a little lesson on it. The movie is called Inception. I think it's with Leonardo DiCaprio. He kind of talks about that a little bit. The subconsciousness is set up to protect you and to protect invaders. Anything that comes off as toxic is an invader. It doesn't care if it's something you're talented in. It doesn't care if it's something that you've done before and you were good at. If there's any toxicity attached to it, the subconsciousness is going to put some sort of pain or some warning in your body to try to scare you from doing it. Okay. This is why when people come up with a money-making idea, some people will lock themselves away so that their consciousness is not corrupted, so their subconsciousness doesn't get in their way. So what they'll do, they'll eliminate all possibilities of any toxicity coming in their consciousness. They'll make sure that they cannot get any negative thoughts or negative interference with their consciousness as they're working on that goal. Or as they are first manifesting it consciously before taking action. Okay. Always remember that when you feel that if you're not experiencing anything anymore, let's say you're not going through it anymore. Okay, but you're like, I still feel anxiety when someone brings it up or when I'm around it. That's your subconsciousness actually holding on to a vibrational version record of that memory of what you've gone through. And even though the memory in your consciousness, you may not even remember it, your subconsciousness does not forget, okay? Your subconsciousness keeps a backup record. Your subconsciousness keeps a backup record of everything that you're going through. Whether it's symbolically it keeps it, or everything that you've gone through. So if you went through a goal, went after a goal, and something toxic happened, or somebody convinced you to think negative about it, and let's say that a while has gone by, months have gone by, your subconsciousness will still remind you of the suffering or experience that you had with it. Okay? All right. So, the 3 takeaways: circadian rhythm. You must try not to, till you are done with that goal. Till you are done with that goal, you cannot stray from the circadian clock. I know it's going to be hard because you're going to have you might got a funeral to go to and then you can't do it at that time. The thing about that is that when you go to do it again, you're going to have to do it a little bit longer to fill in the time that you didn't put in that goal when you jumped off your circadian clock rhythm for some family event or something happening in your life. This is why a lot of people, they don't do their families, they don't do nobody when they think they onto a money making goal. They just jump ship and everything so that they can protect their chosen circadian clock rhythm. These are things that gifted people and brilliant people know. Writers like me who are brilliant, we know this. This is what we're doing. That's the only difference. We're not any more special than anybody else. It's that we are protecting our consciousness in a very extreme way. We're ruthless with protecting it, and we're ruthless with keeping to that circadian clock rhythm. It doesn't matter if our family shouted us to get up and do stuff. It doesn't matter if somebody called us to come do something. We will not stray from that circadian clock rhythm. We will just say, okay, people don't want to talk to us, fall out with people. We don't care. Because we know the more we stray from that rhythm that is working for us being in that goal, the harder it is, the more unlikely we're going to be able to sit down and just do it. Okay, the harder it is going to be to even continue when we do it, to continue doing it when we do it. So to keep that from coming in, we pretty much make sure that if we are going to give our consciousness into something else, it's at the end. It comes in a small percentage after we have done what we're supposed to do. After we have done our goal, everything else will get a small percentage of our consciousness. You see what I'm saying? Everything good too. Let's say something good is supposed to happen to you later. You can't think of that more than you think of your goal. The brain only cares about you feeling good. It only cares about you feeling happy and at peace. So if it feels like, okay, the relationship you have with so-and-so was giving you all this peace in the evening and on a regular, it may actually start to compel you to go there instead of going after your goal. Okay? All right. So you have no choice. You literally have no choice but to breadcrumb everything else. This is why artists are often accused of being narcissists. It's not that they're narcissists. It's that they have found out that every time they put as much energy or almost as much energy into other people who are not in alignment with their circadian rhythm and their goal, they see that they end up having delays on their manuscript. So they realize that they are forced to breadcrumb other people if they're going to fulfill their dreams. The sad thing about it is that becoming a genius and becoming a high achiever does require some narcissism with the breadcrumbing. You can think you can dance around it and avoid it. It's not going to happen because whenever you finally give your energy to other people, they're going to sense that they can't get as much as they got before. That you're almost like you're happy with them, but you're not flooding them with dopamine, because you got most of your dopamine, the most of the dopamine you got from your work. So they're realizing that you're not chasing them for dopamine. So they're going to say, well, you're semi-detached, or you're not quite emotionally available, or you're a little bit self-absorbed. And it's not that you're self-absorbed. It's that you was chasing dopamine when you was chasing getting your goal done. It's still all giving you dopamine. If it feels good, it's dopamine or endorphins and things like that. See, let me give you an example. Stephen King. He does not look like he goes to the gym. Stephen King does not look like he works out a lot, because his endorphins and his happy feeling, his subconsciousness has been well trained to get it from writing. Okay? His subconsciousness has been trained to compel him, to push him to always go after writing to get his hormones. All right? Stephen King writes at the same time every day, no matter what. The man is married and everything. He never, ever, ever strays from his circadian clock rhythm. And it's been 30 years he's been at that same circadian clock rhythm. And when you do this, when you stick to the circadian clock rhythm, it is much easier to become a genius in your craft. Because you don't have to meditate to get the energy. The energy is used to coming at that time for you. The energy is used to being there and you showing up. So and you've been already trained to be fully open to it. So when you stick with that circadian clock rhythm, there's no resistance. And so because there's no resistance, it's easier to achieve mastery. And you will achieve mastery faster than anyone who has resistance in it. The question is how bad do you want to achieve the goal? Because there's nothing glamorous about achieving there's no glamorous life to achieving a goal. As far as glamorous, what you see everybody else able to do, there's going to be a lot of things you can't do. Otherwise, your consciousness is going to become unfamiliar to your subconsciousness. So, now there's a way you can trick your subconsciousness to think that what you're doing, what you're putting in your consciousness is still connected to your goal. That means you would have to connect everything in your life. All of it has to support your goal. That way, your subconsciousness, when it goes to interrogate your consciousness and all the things that you've done, it still sees that they're all related to your goal. So it's going to still see that all those other things you did is good for you if your goal was good for you. So let me give you an example. Okay, let's say that my writing life, I go on dates because I'm doing research as well for my books. I clean my house for ideas for my books. Okay, maybe I do that. Maybe I go to the museum for my books. It's like I'm having a full life, but everything has to serve my books, my writing life. The problem with people achieving goals is that they'll have other things they're doing that has nothing to do with their goal, but yet those things will start to dominate. Okay, start to dominate their consciousness. So I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. Okay, so the last thing on this, and this is just the honest truth, and some of y'all Christians may not agree with me, but I'm telling you no lie, I can prove it. I can prove it by having somebody get on my circadian clock rhythm, and then they'll see that they will actually kind of have the same energy that I have. and then I'll prove myself right. I'm not attacking any of you Christians, but I'm just saying I could prove myself right with this next one, all of them, but this one as well. There is, you know how they say there's a season for everything? There's a time for every energy. Like there's a time for a seed to bloom. There's a time for a plant to die. And God works, the creator, the cosmos as well, if you want to call it that, works in cycles as well. Like this time of day, all the Akashic records are open and available. This time of day, there's more ideas available, closer to you, easily accessible. So the point is that you have to shop the time of day as well. Okay? Just saying, well, I know what I want to do, I know what my goal is, but is it available to be shopped at that time? Is the metaphysical space grocery store open for whatever your goal is? Is it open at that time? Hi, everybody. It's like some people say, I'm not getting any ideas. You're not trying to knock on the idea door in metaphysical world, and it's not open yet. It's not time. And you don't have the right energy ticket to get in the door. So some people say, I'm looking at the blank screen and nothing's coming. It's not time. Okay? Now, of course, you can use what you know and then start that goal, what you know. But if you're trying to get like something new for the goal, you're trying to get it inwardly through your inner power, there is a time that you can do that and a time that you can't. And if you try to get whatever you wanted to get with that goal outside of that time window, you'll find that it's like less than a crumb of what you can get. Okay, it's basically or very basic what you got. Okay, you might only got the theme or the title of the goal or something very kind of mediocre. Basically, you got somebody's leftovers for that time, leftover energy, scraps of some energy that was already previously used the day before, and or energy that was just used. You're getting the leftover vibration of it, so you're probably only getting a bite-sized, faded version of whatever you got, all because it wasn't time. um, so this is why this is how you use the clock to beat this system. This system gave us a time clock, but the time clock is only based upon when you go to bed and when you go to sleep. It's not based upon what 8 a.m. Okay, that's a whole other course. People got to learn about time. Okay, and because that is one of the main reasons why people don't start their goals and they have no explanation. They say the devil's blocking me. They say something's wrong. I don't know why. I go, walk away, come back to the laptop, sit, don't do nothing. One of the main reasons is the lack of understanding about time. We know Albert Einstein, I think he said time is relative. Yeah, what he's trying to explain is time on the clock is relative. Really, spiritually, the only time that exists is the energy ribbon flow. That's it. That is it. The system has given it a time frame to try to help you to be able to set up your circadian clock rhythm the way they want everybody to set it up, like a bumblebee, like a group thing. But you have to base it upon energy. So, like, for example, let's say, okay, this is going to get to master class. I'm not trying to make y'all be like, hold up, this is getting too deep. Just know that the 8 a.m. circadian clock that we have been given by the system, it's not always in alignment with God, okay? And I want to do a whole course on that one day so people can understand why, even though they say I got up at 8 a.m. and still I didn't get that done. Yeah, it has to do with energy. But also understand that if your chakras is injured and not healthy, okay, and then you're trying to access that particular energy of that like specific chakra that's injured, even if you're right on the circadian clock, you may not still be able to really get it because you're not well. This is why really the first 30 minutes that you wake up, it should be chakra care. And you may want to consider getting some resources that will help you to check your chakras. You need chakra medical examination every morning. I actually go through the main chakras that I struggle with or are under attack a lot. I have certain spiritual stuff that I use for those within the first 30 minutes woke. I almost always burn the root chakra incense. Okay? Especially if you've ever been sexually active. Because that root chakra, and if you're older as well, the root chakra is often one of the main reasons why you're procrastinating with getting your work done, achieving your goals. So I try to burn frankincense and root chakra incense so that I can clear out any wicked energy that may be interfering with me, with the grounding of my chakras, if interfering with that, so that I can start my goal. So it's achieving goals is actually also very personal. I mean, it can get medical. Like it can get medical. Sometimes you need serious spiritual medical attention just to get started. You may not think you do because you woke up and you're walking around, but there could be something that's just not balancing you. This getting in the way. Also, This is going to sound very weird, but sometimes where you have already put your energy at in abundance, even if you're not there anymore, the vibration of it is still conquering your consciousness. That could be a bunch of stuff in your cell phone. That could be, like, let's say you put up 2,000 videos on YouTube, but you're like not on YouTube no more. But the videos are still there. And people are still communicating with you in the comments and stuff. That energy is still heavy in your consciousness. So when you try to do anything else that has nothing to do with that, the subconsciousness is going to feel like it's an uninvited guest because of all the YouTube videos vibrational in your mind. Even though they might be old memories of you, your YouTube videos, they can actually be jump-started like a heart can be jump-started. They can be brought back to life in high vibration through you just thinking about too much of those videos or hanging out on your YouTube. I'm not saying nothing bad about YouTube. I'm just using that as an example. Okay? Energy that you have loved, that you have blessed, if it's like by the hundreds and the thousands, like a lot of people, all that energy is still coming towards your consciousness. And if those people know when you're available or when you're woke, their consciousness is coming towards yours, and it could be at a time where you're trying to sit down and write, or you're trying to sit down and do a goal of some kind. So you would actually have to keep your distance, and those people would have to go towards somebody else so that the vibration would weaken in its connection to your consciousness. And then your consciousness will start to be open to something new coming in. Okay? All right. This content is not available without my express permission, not available to be used. Please give credit if you use it. Give credit, and if you're making money off of it, give me some of the money. I don't care if you give me credit, give me my money. Money is the only credit. I hope y'all know that. Because there's no guarantee that when someone compliments you, they meant it. There's no guarantee that when somebody mentions your name, other people are going to follow. Money is like sort of like, okay, money and gifts is like I definitely got what I'm owed. And we know that is it. Otherwise, the Creator would never give us money and gifts. When we think of the old days, the saints people brought gifts and money to their home for gratitude. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to tell. That's another thing. Do you know that you will abandon goals when you're afraid to say you expect to be paid for them? When you do goals and you're in codependent energy, your subconsciousness will start to feel like that's an enemy. The goal is an enemy. We are built to want to survive financially. We're built for that. And that's a part of our mission. And when you try to achieve goals and your goals is just like free, I'm going to tell you no lie. If that's the mindset that you have, you'll find that your goals will turn against you. You will actually manifest some sort of bad karma. Do you know you can get bad karma with your goals by going into them and saying that you're just doing it for free? The Creator wants you to want to get your wealth and your riches. And when you say it's not important, it's no big deal, it's like really disrespectful to your metaphysical space, since your money is literally sitting in your metaphysical space. Your fortune is already there, okay, in your metaphysical space. When you say, well, I'm doing all this stuff for free, I'm going to sit down and do this goal and publish this book for free. I'm not going to put no fee on it. I want to explain something. A good deed has nothing to do. I want to explain something. A good deed has nothing to do with a goal. A good deed is you like helping an old lady across the street, grabbing somebody's groceries for them, maybe sharing a meal with them or something like that, or, cutting somebody's grass. That would be a good deed, okay? But when you come up with an invention of any kind, no matter what it's packaged in, you cannot see that as a good deed, because all invention, original ideas, and even intelligence that will change the world in a better way is all attached to your money in your metaphysical space. Okay? So don't feel uncomfortable. Let me tell you, when you sit down and you say, I'm going to do this goal because I got a need, let me tell you, you'll find that it's easier for you to sit down and do that goal. Because the creator wants you to have your needs fulfilled. Okay? Your metaphysical space and your wealth is attached to needs. So when you say, I'm doing this goal because I need to. I need to do this. I need to do this for my health, my mind. I need to do this goal for my bills, my money. I need to do this goal to feed my kids. Then you're going to go and do it. It's no different than when you tell yourself that and go do a 9-to-5 job. You say, I got to go do a 9-to-5 job because I have to pay bills. I have to live. I don't want to be homeless. You have to see that with your goals. You have to find a way to let that goal be a resource to take care of you. You have to find a way to see it that way in your mind. And you have to trust that because the goal was given to you and the content was given to you from God, not from anyone else, from God, you know, from the cosmos, if you're not religious, you know that it has to be connected to your money. Okay? That you are supposed to get money off of it. Once again, if you got it out of thin air, if you got it in the air, if you were sitting down and it's like, or you read something and you have a deep, higher understanding of it and you're getting more knowledge out of the air, then you know that your wealth is attached to that. Otherwise, you would have not got no downloads. The Creator does not give you higher understanding downloads of your goals for you to sit up there and starve and do it for free. Okay? The Creator does not do that. And this goes for anything that you're trying to achieve. It doesn't matter. Even if you're like writing a book on teaching something, if that content, if those downloads are yours, then you are supposed to get money. Okay? If the expansion of understanding those goals, not redefining, not putting work in layman's terms, because that would still be, it's not your download. But actually expanding on a single mini lesson, and you can expand on it. Okay, let's say somebody say, yeah, I heard the stars give you oxygen. And all of a sudden you get 10 downloads about the stars. Then guess what? You're supposed to get money through that. Okay? If you have to use what someone else said, then that's not where you get your money. And I'm saying this because your goals is attached to your wealth. And if you are blocked from doing them, it could be how you're doing them is not approved by the cosmos. It's not approved by your Arcadian clock. You may be in some sort of dark, wicked energy in your Arcadian clock, so you're being blocked from doing that goal. And this is very important. So, for example, let's say that you've been cheating and stealing and stuff. Let's say that you've been doing that, harvesting other people's content and not giving credit. Let's say you've been doing that, and then you expect to sit down and come up with and do that goal. It's not gonna happen. Okay, it's not gonna happen because you're still in a negative vibration. Goals get done when you have a positive thought. Your thought had to be negative for you to steal and rob. You had to be negative about yourself, your self-esteem, your capabilities, or about society. So those thoughts, those negative thoughts, vanity is still a negative vibration. So those negative thoughts is still down in your subconsciousness. Even if you haven't had those for hours, what you did was negative. So that vibration is going to spill in to your time when you're trying to achieve your goal, and you're going to be blocking yourself from doing the goal. There is a quote: "There's nothing in the Zen school. You bring is what you bring." When you can't achieve your goals, sometimes it's who you are before you showed up to do that goal. Okay, you have to literally ask yourself: Have you been in any of the 7 sins? Because they will it doesn't matter if you're only sinning one time. If you have been acting entitled to do that sin, and that sin has went on to hurt somebody, all that energy comes back and acts like a block when you go to achieve your goals. This is why high achievers who are legally achieving, they're not using stolen content. A lot of them are avoiding the 7 sins, right down to not fornicating. They're not even fornicating. They're not even playing with themselves. They're not doing none of it. So that if there's any block, then it's probably medical. If there's any block, it's probably mentally how they thinking about themselves. If there's a block, then it's the environment doing it. It's easier to track where your block is coming from in your life when you know you're not sinning. Okay, the Creator does not want to make nobody rich that's sitting up there glorifying sin and sinning and thinking it's not a big deal. Y'all, I be saying some stuff straight to the head up in these videos. It's triggering people. The Creator does not want to reward someone with expanded ideas on their goal and confidence and courage, and they've been sinning. The sinning feeling, the humiliation in there will act in get in the way. Because no one, not even a psychopath, can avoid humiliation of sinning. This is why even the people who got personality problems, when they're exposed, they will snap out. Okay? When their sins are exposed, they will snap out. They will be outraged, or they will plan to get even with you. So that means that it doesn't matter what your personality type is, or personality, mental health, you've been diagnosed, it doesn't matter, ADHD, GAD, no matter. When you're sinning, that deep down humiliation is going to still vibrationally go towards the time when you're trying to achieve a goal. And here's the thing: if you push yourself to achieve that goal, and you know you've been glorified in sinning, you're going to find that something terrible happens when you do the goal. The Creator is going to make something terrible happen to discipline you for thinking that you're entitled to do that goal, and yet you are sinning and thinking it's no big deal. For example, okay, let's say that you was cheating on your boo or whatever. And then you said, I'm going to sit down and write. I'm really good at writing, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and write. You'll find that eventually your laptop will go down, something will malfunction, you will lose that literary material somewhere in your computer, or the creator will cut off the burning desire for it. When you go back to sit down and do it, you will not even care for it. You won't even explain why you don't like what you wrote, even though it could possibly be good. You won't be able to explain why you have no passion to finish it. But it's the creator blocking you energetically for thinking you can still sit up there and push through and do it when you know you was sinning and not coming clean. As they say, cleanliness is godliness. Godliness is the ultimate goal. So if you're trying to create something that will give you financial freedom, then you're trying to achieve the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal, you're trying to achieve heaven. So you must be clean. See? You must be clean. And this is why, now sometimes it's who you're sleeping with making you unclean and blocking your goal. That happened to Sylvia Plath. Her husband was a narcissist. Ted Hughes was a narcissist, sleeping with another man's wife who literally had dinner with them. And gaslighting Sylvia about it and trying to lie and make her think she was delusional. But she took him, she stayed with him, and her chakras got blocked from the sexuality. He was harnessing her energy. And it wasn't until he moved out and moved in with the mistress who left her husband too for him. It wasn't until then that Sylvia got unblocked. Okay? But she took him back one time. She allowed him to hoover her, and that blocked her again. And she couldn't take that second block, and she unalived herself. He blocked her again. She shouldn't have let him back in her energy space. He only came back for her energy because his mistress situation was falling apart. And I also found out that through his story, through that story, he also suffered some heavy losses. I think the creator took babies from him for blocking Sylvia. So I'm just saying, y'all, just be careful whose energy you receive when you're trying to achieve a goal. Everybody is suspect for the devil when you got an amazing goal in mind. Most of the time, most of the people you're around will flip into devil energy when you're locked into a major goal. All right, y'all, I'm going to head on out. My noodles is just about ready. Sorry about if I've been smacking, but I was sucking on a cough drop here. I did get time for change, so it's all up to y'all if y'all want to take a leap. If you want to, leap into a new goal or get something done. I got get something done by the end of the first week of October. That's what I got. I got that something needs to be done by Halloween. Like, that would be pushing it if it was after Halloween. So I don't know if y'all have goals, but it's time to go full throttle. Full throttle in it. That's why I did this video. And when I say full throttle in it, it means mentally first. Most of the time when you go to achieve a goal, and you go to do it every day, it requires almost like 40 minutes of just sitting in it in your mind. Now, some people will walk and think about it for 40 minutes. 30, 40 minutes. A lot of writers do that. But when you go to achieve your goal, when you're thinking of achieving your goal physically, let's say you're doing 20-minute sprints, because that's what we're really supposed to be doing. 20 minutes, stretch, breathe, meditate for 5 minutes, then another 20 minutes. That's how we're really supposed to be doing it. When you have done that for like you did three 20-minute sprints of your goal. Okay, that would be almost an hour. All right. You may think that's not a lot, But if you have already done it in your mind for at least 30 minutes, when you go to do that, you're going to be actually pretty comfortable and with no resistance, and you're going to find that you're at least average when you're doing your goal. And to have an average first draft of your goal is pretty good. Okay? But to reach that averageness of the first draft, the 60 minutes of your goal being average, it needs at least 30 minutes of meditation on it. And guess what? You cannot do something after the meditation. You can't do anything else. You got to jump right from the meditation immediately to doing the goal. Now, because we're living in a society where we use our eyeballs a little bit too much, looking online, looking comments, videos, YouTube, TV, sometimes the eyes become an obstacle to achieving our goal. What I find it helps me is sometimes to do my goal blindfolded. Okay? Find a way to not see what you're doing. This way the consciousness is forced to be the only thing that's just showing you what you know about the goal. Okay? Your surroundings is not interfering. So you would be like creating like a blind man, only able to use your conscious memory of you doing the goal. You cannot use anything outside of you. Okay, everybody, I got to get ready to go. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to donate, you can donate to my Cash App at Coach V Hunter or at my PayPal. I do have extended content. I have little tricks and tips on how to quickly prepare your mind to achieve your goal. It's getting into the metaphysical part of doing it. But there's like 3 parts of you that must be connected to in a healthy way. Otherwise, you it's almost like you won't start that goal. Now, this is even if everything else you followed in this video. Let's say you followed all the other lessons in this video. There's still like 3 parts of you that you must have connected with it in a certain way for you to find it easier to sit down and do your goal. Almost like to increase the odds that you will do it. So you're trying to increase your odds that you will do it. You're trying to raise the percentage. Like, there's a 90% chance I'm going to do this goal. And the percentages take time to grow. Percentages of the burning desire growth in your mind, it's like a plant. You got to keep, you got to take care of it and nurture it so the percentage will raise. And then eventually you'll get in there. One of the biggest blocks that keeps people from doing their goal is not enough light. I know people glamorize doing their goals in low light, but you need a lot of light. You actually need a lot of light before you actually sit down and do your goals in low light. This is why I think when people wrote books in jail, I think that those are people that actually was going outside during lunchtime in jail, maybe meditating on their books in the light outside, and then they were sitting up at night writing their books when their cellmate was asleep. That could have been it. I really think that that's how Tupac did it. Because when they showed pictures of Tupac, he seemed to be an outdoor person. So I'm thinking when he wrote his book, A Rose That Grew from Concrete, I believe that he got a lot of his inspiration from, he was able to connect to his circadian rhythm to get the inspiration when he was outside, getting enough light. And then he might have sat up at night writing the juxtaposition, or the contrast of the rose growing from concrete. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for listening, everybody. Once again, this content is not for fair use in any way. I will see y'all next weekend. I might get on tonight, but I told y'all I only get on the weekends now on this channel because I have to put all my energy into my other channel, because remember what I told y'all about goals. Okay, it's about raising the odds, the percentage of the odds that you will complete a goal. That means other things have to get less of your energy. And that includes for me too. All right, bye everybody. See y'all later.